is Scott Mantz, and welcome to Half Hour with Ted Lasso, winner of 7 Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Comedy Series. We're joined today by the beloved guest stars of season 2 of Ted Lasso. So please welcome James Lance, Anthony Head, Harriet Walter, and Ellie Taylor. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for these next 30 minutes on Half Hour with.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Hello. Well, let's get started by taking a look at a very pivotal scene featuring Trent Crimm, played by James Lance. Let's take a look.
Coach Lasso. Hey, there he is. I was worried about you. I thought you might have been in a bike accident or something.
Actually, I don't know how to ride a bicycle.
Really? That surprised me.
Why? Because of the hair and the whole vibe?
Yeah, I guess so. But why the heck weren't you at the press conference then?
Because I am no longer a reporter. I was fired when they found out I revealed an anonymous source.
Oh, snap. I didn't say anything, I promise.
No, I know, Ted. I did. I'm looking for something different. Deeper.
Well, as the man says, you gotta follow your bliss, right? Sorry you're out of the job. But hey, you know what this makes you now, though, right?
Trent Crimm. Independent.
Yeah.
Yeah. My father made the same joke.
You sound like a cool guy. Well, I hope our paths cross again soon, Trent.
As do I, Ted. I love our chats.
You want to ride? I prefer to walk, but I appreciate you.
And Ted, good luck next season.
Wow, what a moment, what a season, and what a character. I gotta say, James, what an arc for Trent. When we see him in the beginning of season 1, he's the independent, and now he is independent. Like, what is your take on the arc, on the change of heart that Trent has for Ted Lasso?
Well, Trent is affected by the Ted Lasso effect, you know, and it happens in episode 3. You know, he realizes this guy's the real deal and he's coming from his heart. And it's when Ted says to him that he's not really interested in wins or losses. It's just about these young fellas being the best they can be, both on and off the field. And Trent would have loved to experience that as a boy, you know? And so Ted actually has the qualities that Trent would have loved to have grown up in a household with those qualities, you know? So it really strikes him and it sends him on a completely different journey.
What a journey indeed. That's what the show is all about. Everyone just goes on a great journey. So let's take a look now at Anthony Head as Rupert, along with Harriet as Deborah.
My darling Deborah.
Rupert.
My sincerest condolences.
Oh, didn't think you were coming.
Rebecca Paul's family.
No, I mean because you weren't invited.
It's lovely to see you, Rupie.
And introducing Diane.
Oh, what a chubby baby.
Congratulations, Mother. You've just fat-shamed a baby to tears.
Oh, come. Oh.
Et voila. The magic touch.
It's not magic. I ate the placenta raw. She knows it.
Yeah, I had all the TVs in the house removed. I just sit around and watch them all day.
Oh, lovely.
Excuse me.
Oh, wow. Anthony, I gotta say, Rupert just keeps showing up, really stirs the pot for Rebecca. What's your take on how it just keeps turning up and how fun to play a juicy character like this?
Oh, it's wonderful playing a juicy character. Yeah, he just always turns up at the wrong time and just really hacks her off, which is wonderful. And everybody absolutely hates me. It's fun. I mean, it's fun playing someone as unpleasant as this, because I mean, I've always thought, you know, don't play it like a bad guy. Play it like somebody who actually thinks they're doing right, because the world is about me, and it's what, you know, how I affect the world. That's what it's about, which is really annoying, but it's fun to play. And I get to play with all these people. It's just, oh, it's just a dream.
What's your take on this this great relationship between mother and daughter?
Absolutely. I have to say, in second season, that episode, not just because I'm in it, is my favorite episode. I love the writing, and I love their relationship, and Sassy as well. It's such fun, and the bit that I most like was when there's the dialogue between mother and daughter, and then Ted Lasso's having a whole thing going on elsewhere, and it's brilliant writing, and it's just the emotion of it all. You can feel the drive of it, but you can't help laughing at stuff. That's what's genius about the show. And you just, however many times you watch it, you can watch it over and over again, and there's still stuff you go, oh, I missed that. I love it. It's just great.
Harriet, what is your take on the relationship between Deborah and Rebecca?
Well, I love that little clip because that's before they have their conversation in the vestry, where she explains that, you know, she can't stand Rupert either, but the best way to treat him is to be nice to him, you know. So you sit there thinking, God, well, she's gooey with this guy. What a tactless mother, you know. And then later on, you find that it's her tactic. It's how she gets through life, by smoothing the waters and make everything seem nice. And so in her way, she wins something. But I also love the way she scares the little baby off, because it gives me a little inkling what a terrible mother she must have been. All babies run from her.
That's a really good point. You're right. And I got to say also, you know, watching the show again, binging it, the second season was just such a joy. Let's take a look now at Ellie Taylor as Flo Sassy Collins, along again with Harriet as Deborah.
I have been told to come in and ask you to lower your voices. Oh. But I also bought this.
Oh, nice.
Stole it from a little boy in a white robe.
No.
So, Stinky, who are you secretly shagging? What?
Oh, let's skip the part where you pretend you're not, yeah?
Oh, what are you even talking about?
How about the text after the date? The fact I have not seen you outside of work for 2 weeks, and that even though today is your father's funeral, you are glowing like a girl that just got properly ploughed. I knew it!
I've been asked to come in and tell you to lower your voices.
The vicar looked like he wanted to swear. Is everything all right?
Yeah, of course. Just trying to figure out who Rebecca's shagging.
Oh, I know. And it's good.
Mother! Hang on. Okay, let's play 20 questions.
Yes!
Oh my, this is thrilling. Is he tall?
Yes.
Is he Sam?
How the f did you know that?
Oh my God, I'm
So great. Ellie, what is it about Sassy? I mean, she is just like the ultimate best friend. She is really, really there for Rebecca, isn't she?
Oh, I bloody love Sassy. Yeah, she's just ballsy and funny and sassy and yeah, totally loyal. And she's just like the friend that you want in life. And I love that scene because I think just seeing women cackling together, it reminds me so much of me and my friends. And so many nights out we have been told to be quiet, which is exactly what happens there. And just the guffawing and just being really rude. It's just such a real female friendship to me, and I love it. It's so much fun.
One of the things I love about that scene too is the way that Harriet, she stops being mom for a second, and she's also one of the friends. Is that your take on it too, Harriet?
Well, it's like 3 generations, isn't it? I mean, yeah. We're all being sisters rather than parents and daughters. And there's something that I don't think Deborah gets to do that very much. So she's having a wonderful time. even though she's just been widowed. It's kind of wow, what have I been missing? Yeah, I love all that kind of caper, and I love the fact that you've got this beautiful statuesque, Rebecca, who's called, by me, she's called Sausage. By what do you call her, Sassy?
I call her Stinky.
Stinky and Sausage. And there's this gorgeous sort of perfect female, and it sort of strips her down a bit, makes you realize that underneath it she's a good egg.
What I got to say about season 2 and also season 1 of Ted Lasso is that rewatching the show is, like Anthony said, you pick up so many new things. But the clarification I just want to make here for the purpose of this conversation is that I introduced you all as guest stars, but your roles, your performances, your arcs are so strong and dynamic. You are like absolutely part of the regular cast. You are like regular cast members with arcs that are just as crucial as, whether it's Ted or Nate. And I want to ask James, how was it working with, especially, Jason and Brett and Brendan as writers and producers to really collaborate on fleshing out those characters?
Well, it's an extraordinary experience because you sort of get fed it piece by piece. So my experience is that I was going to turn up in a few episodes and I wasn't really sure what else was going to happen. Trent gets changed by his experience of Ted. And so inevitably, I get changed by my experience on this show, and suddenly it starts to sort of grow, and this has been my experience on it, and so that is really quite an extraordinary feeling to be a part of, and just to say, working with Jason off the top is that his attention to detail and his stamina for his consistent attention to detail is kind of like a superpower. I've never seen anybody do what he does, and that is that sets an atmosphere on this show that's really, really, really exciting.
I'll bet. And Anthony, you're shaking your head. I would love to hear your take on that too.
As James says, it's quite extraordinary that it's mainly Jason, but a few people just come up and say, try this, and it's from writers, and so it's I love it. It's absolutely it's joyous. It's there's a freshness about it, and quite often you get rewrites sort of right up at the last minute, and I don't know, there's, as I say, there's a freshness, it's like a little flower that keeps blooming.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
One of my favorite scenes of the season, Ellie, is between you and Anthony. I think you know what scene I'm talking about. When she basically, Sassy just tells Rupert exactly how she feels about him. And I just want to ask, just like filming that scene with Anthony, how much fun you really just had in that moment.
I mean, it's so brilliant, isn't it? It's such a fun scene. I think it's the kind of thing that we've all wished we've been able to say to certain people we may have come across in life. And it's all of that sort of vitriol, but also complete composure. And it's like she's been sort of thinking about exactly what she's going to say, and it's the perfect time, and she gets it out perfectly. And she's very happy with the little job that she does there perfectly. It was a brilliant, and I think, like you're saying, although Sassy is not in it particularly that much, it's so well written that you know exactly how she's going to react in that situation. And for all of us, I think, we may not be in it loads, but the characters are so fully formed that you can put them in any situation and you can imagine how they'll behave, because they are so brilliantly written and the scripts are so exquisite.
Oh, absolutely. And Anthony, you're from your angle, on the receiving end of Sassy's, honesty. It's just like what you said about Rupert. Like he thinks he's doing the right thing all the time with Rebecca.
I asked Jason, I said, look, should I laugh like, ha ha ha, and he said, well, maybe there's a part of you that is, is kind of deflecting it, but there's a part of you that is going to be slightly knocked back. It's such fun to play the subtleties of something like that, because, Rupert's not going to be like at Sassy, but he's just, you can tell he's like,
yeah.
It's fun.
Real fun. Harriet, I want to ask, your chemistry with Hannah Waddingham is just, it's wonderful. And I love the relationship. Like they're it's a true mother-daughter relationship. Like they don't see eye to eye and they're from different generations and all that, but they're really trying. They're really trying, especially Deborah. How great is it to have that dynamic with Hannah? And like, do you like sort of rehearse through certain scenes and try things out?
Yes, we do. But I mean, I walked into this show when it was already established and beautiful. Season 1, I wasn't in at all. So I was thrown this idea and I went, football, what? Not my area. And then it's not really about the football. It's about many things as well as that. And then I saw Hannah and I thought, blonde bombshell, me mother, me dark. Maybe I married a Norwegian. And so we got the sort of compromise wig that kind of slightly slides that way. And then it became that I was almost imitating my daughter because I was so impressed by her. So the roles are slightly switched. And I don't think I was ever very maternal. I think I always wanted to be a bit sisterly with her. And there are women like that. I know that I had a friend at school who said, my mum always wants to be my sister and I wanted to be my mother, and so there's that dynamic going on. But what was great was that Hannah rang me up and, and said, hi, I hear you're going to be my mother, because it's so weird when you have to sort of meet that day and play that you've got a 40-year-old history, So we did talk on the phone a bit before we even met, and, we have the same initials. So, it was bound to work.
Oh, well, that's what a great way to break the ice. So you could sort of have the rhythm down when you do meet face to face for the first time. And James, I want to ask you, so when you all broke at the end of season 1, okay, and then Ted Lasso becomes this phenomenon under extraordinary circumstances, and then you come back for season 2, the world has changed, making a TV show has changed. You have all these protocols, and you got to be super, super careful because the COVID and of it all. So my question for you, and really for everybody, but starting with you, James, is how did those circumstances really make you all bond and have each other's backs, and how cathartic was it that you all had each other to work through a series under new filming circumstances?
Wow, that's an interesting question. There's no doubt from my point of view, it was a strange experience to turn up on set and slightly not recognize people. I realize I sort of look at the mouth, the smile, and then doing comedy in that environment, because we even had the masks on right up until I think we would actually go for a take. So we just adapted really kind of quite effortlessly, I think. I mean, it was just amazing. We were up and running and filming. It's incredible.
What's your take on that, Ellie? Because, same thing for you, you came back into season 2, it was very, very different situation, but, how did you sort of turn lemons into lemonade for working with this cast again?
I think it was, as Jane said, it's such a pleasure to all be working together again and to be in a group and to be out of the house. That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But it certainly had its challenges because you were limited, and the production were so diligent on trying to keep everyone safe. And so there were all these protocols, and you're trying to rehearse with masks on or like visors that make you look like a dog who's just been neutered or something. So it was definitely challenging, but I think we were also delighted to be able to be doing this show again. That you just had to get stuck in and get on with it, which is what we did. And it was lovely doing so. For instance, the funeral episode, these massive big scenes. What a pleasure to be in a room with that many people. It was a bit unusual at that time, and it was really lovely, even to we're all singing together. it's like, oh wow, this is really special and weird. Yeah, it was lovely. It was magic.
I'm glad you brought up the funeral scene, because one thing about season 2 of Ted Lasso is this was a show that took some pretty big swings in season 2. Not only did you have more depth with the characters, not only did things get a little more serious, but you also had like the Christmas episode and the after hours episode with Brendan Hunt, and then you have the funeral episode, which I gotta say really captured every emotion, the laughter, the tears, and also with the exception of Trent, you are all together, which I don't think that really happens very often. So Anthony, what was your take to be with everybody at that moment?
It says so much in such a short amount of time without you feeling, oh, this is too much. It makes you really, really laugh. It makes you really, really think. And occasionally it makes you quite emotional. And it's just, I mean, Hannah singing to her father is quite extraordinary. You don't take anything for granted. You know, you live in the moment. And something like this happening when it did, I mean, the fact that the show was born in people's view when it did, I mean, it was so supportive, so positive, so I don't know, so lively and lovely that it just took off. And so yeah, second season just kind of, as you said, it grew, and it kind of encapsulated everything. I'm just so proud to be part of it. But there you go.
Well, Harriet, for this being your first season with this family, to be with almost everybody at that moment, especially in such an emotional scene, what was that like for you? What were your observations of seeing everybody together and of filming the moment, you know, the where everybody, you know, joins in on the song?
Yeah, I think I want it written into my contract that I do a wedding or a funeral in every thing that I do, because it's a way of meeting all of the cast. And, you know, I'd watched them. It's always a bit peculiar when you've seen something as a spectator, a viewer, and then suddenly you're part of them, you know, and all those characters, the footballers, the guys, you know, the gang, who are so adorable, I have to say. And, you know, I didn't know that I'd find footballers adorable, but, you know, and I say footballers because I forget they're actors, because they're so convincing in their characters. Yeah. And then I also thought that, you know, as it's been said, that all the gamut of emotions does come out at funerals, and it does anyway in real life. It's not sort of a device that's shoehorned into the drama. It actually is the device that gets people revealing what they really feel, and sort of coming to sort of, well, this is the moment I'm going to tell her this, and this is the moment I'm going to say that. For some reason, that's what happens at funerals and after funerals. So that didn't feel like a sort of, you know, contrived device. It felt like it was all part of what was going on. And I felt really privileged because, you know, so many industries couldn't work, and we were, you know, and also a huge leg of our industry, the live theatre, couldn't work because they needed to have live audiences, obviously, who weren't allowed to sit together. And so all those sort of precautions and preparations and insurances that were set in place so that the film and TV industry could continue, you know, how lucky were we to be living in that world where you went to work and thought, well, I know everybody's been tested in this room. I know everybody came this morning, and I know they haven't got COVID right now. So, you know, that was a pretty special piece of good fortune for us, I think.
For sure. And Ellie, I had a prior conversation with Brendan Hunt, and he said that during that scene, the funeral scene, that Hannah was so great, she should just get an Emmy. She should get an Oscar. Is that fair to say, Ellie?
Oh my God, Hannah, she made me cry every time she sang, and she just absolutely nailed it. And we did, you know, many takes of that, and oh my gosh, she gets me. I think she's one of the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life, and I think And I'm not a person to say that. I feel like I've fallen in love with Hannah, and I think everyone does who meets her. She's a sensational human, and I want to be her.
While we were going through this transition where we really grew to like Trent throughout season 2, and by the end of season 2, we also went through another transformation where we went the opposite direction with Nate, from being Nate the Great to, nope, he's not so great after all. So what was your take on just that transition for Nate and the performance of Nick Mohammed particularly?
Well, that's got to be one of the most fabulous arcs of any character in any series. It has to be, because we just fall completely in love with him in episode 1 of season 1, Nate the Great, and he becomes great and he blossoms and all of that wonderful stuff he fills out, and then and then things change for him, and you know, that can happen, right? That can happen. And power, as we know, can really change a person. And yeah, you know, to be continued, right?
Yeah, well, that
and
final...
I just want to say that this sort of speech where Nate hits Ted with how he really feels blew me out of the water. It just blew me out of the water. And I think you've already spoken with Nick, so you've been in his presence, and a sweeter human being you could not hope to meet. So I think that was that must have been a real ride for him to go there. And I mean, you know, spitting in the mirror, those moments as well, when he's all of that stuff, I found that's one of the most shocking things I've ever seen a character do in anything. I love Nick. He's phenomenal in this show.
He is, but you're all phenomenal, just so you're all clear on this. And I just want to turn the last question over to Anthony. So listen, I mean, obviously Ted Lasso has really struck a chord with so many people for so many reasons, but let's just say there's somebody who has not watched Ted Lasso yet, or maybe just only watched season 2 once, and like, you know, maybe they should binge it again. What would you say to someone to be like, no, man, this is why you got to watch season 2 again, or even just watch it the first time?
Because there is nothing like it. You've not seen anything like it before. And you probably won't for a while. When you go through a show initially, you just take in what's there. And then it's only a second, maybe even a third time, you start to see the subtleties, the little nuances, the little, oh, I hadn't noticed that. And it makes fun, you know. It's we are now in this strange position of not just watching something once a week. We can actually watch something over and over again.
Oh yeah,
and it's fascinating.
How about you, Ellie? What would you say?
I would say it's just such a pleasurable experience. It's so warm and uplifting, and it's so, you know, with my friends and my family, it's I don't think there's ever been a show that I know so many people from different, you know, sort of stages of life have liked. Even me and my husband, who don't agree on anything, especially TV wise, we both really enjoyed it, really. And we know nothing about football, couldn't give a monkeys, but it just had so much heart and joy. And, you know, if you want to watch an episode before bed, you'll go to bed with a smile on your face and feel happy. And I've loved being a part of it, and I love watching it. I just think it's I feel so lucky to be a tiny part of it.
Well, Ellie, I can absolutely vouch for Ted Lasso being the last thing that I watch before I go to bed, because I think I did that almost every night. And you're right, I went to bed happy. And I think that says a lot. And we all said a lot in this last half hour. I want to thank all of you for joining us for this conversation on Half Hour With. Big thanks to our friends at Apple and Apple TV Plus for making this happen, and for coordinating all this with Half Hour With. And Thank you again all so much, and we will see you soon.